Okay, so I know we spoke about this earlier. We talked about the Vancouver Canucks, the good, the bad, and the ugly so far in this 2020 offseason. And we spoke primarily on the bad section on how Oliver Ekman-Larsson impacted the rest of the team in a domino-like fashion. We spoke in that video about how the Vancouver Canucks had their own list of priorities, and a guy like Oliver Ekman-Larsson, oddly enough, was at the very top of that list, and as a result, it pushed everybody else down the hierarchy of importance, I guess you could say. And just like the video we made yesterday where we spoke about how the Boston Bruins were trying to sign Taylor Hall, and I swear this actually does relate, we spoke in that video about how the Bruins wanted to sign Hall, but they told him to wait. They told Hall, hey man, we can do it. We want to sign you. We can. We have the money to do so, just not available at our fingertips right now. I'll tell you what, Taylor Hall, let's wait a little bit. We'll make a trade, we'll send out some money, and then once we do that trade, we will sign you. How does that sound, man? And we spoke in yesterday's video about how that's a bad thing. Because when you're in a position of negotiation, the last thing you want to do as a businessman looking for a potential client is to keep your guy waiting. That is the last thing you want to do. People get impatient. This is a fast world. This is a fast market. This is an environment where people want to get things done. So when you tell a Taylor Hall, hey man, we'll do it, just wait a week, man. We're going to get this done. Don't worry, we'll get you later. That's the last thing they want to hear. Which is why he kind of just up and away went to Buffalo. The same kind of thing applies here, because there was recently an article published on The Athletic. This is a very, very good article. It's written by Thomas Drance and Rick Dhaliwal. I highly, highly recommend go check it out. If you don't have The Athletic, go ahead, buy that, read this article. It's a very good piece. But we're not actually going to be reading any of it here because it is paid for material, so haha. Instead, we're going to take some of the ideas mentioned in it and just describe the philosophies behind them and my own personal opinions about those things. Because we spoke at length about waiting, taking the guys that you want to negotiate business with and forcing them to wait. That's what we spoke about a few days ago with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. We spoke about Tyson Barrie in the same way too, because Oliver Ekman-Larsson was a Vancouver Canucks target that didn't go through. Tyson Barrie was a free agent target that ultimately just didn't come to Vancouver because he wanted to play with McDavid. He took a pay cut to go over to Edmonton, and instead of playing with Pettersson, Hughes, and JT Miller, he wants to play with McDavid and Draisaitl. Okay, that makes sense. But we've gotten word that a whole bunch of the other Vancouver Canucks free agents that they ended up losing mostly just left because the Vancouver Canucks were in a position where either A, their money was focused on other areas of the team, or B, they weren't showing their free agents the love that they wanted. Take a look at this. This is a tweet over here from Taj summarizing the whole Chris Tanev part of the article. To recap, after ignoring Chris Tanev for weeks, Jim Benning called Tanev personally as a last-ditch effort to sign him, and Tanev didn't pick up the call. Then he signed with the Flames within the hour. This is after Jim Benning was going after Barrie. After they went after Ekman-Larsson, after going through the dominoes, their hierarchy of, okay, first off, we want Ekman-Larsson, nope, okay, we can't do that, let's go over to Tyson Barrie, or option B, nope, he's gone too. Hey, Chris Tanev, we just went through two other defenders that we weren't able to get. Next up on our list, it's you, bud. How does it feel to be next up on our list, man? And as a result, he signed elsewhere. Now again, I've said this previously, but the contract that Chris Tanev signed with Calgary, no, I absolutely would have not liked that if it was the Vancouver Canucks that signed him to that contract. But the process remains the process. The Vancouver Canucks were in a position where they purposefully held out on their own free agent assets and let those guys go because they wanted other pieces. And this is where the whole communication thing comes in, because if you're the Vancouver Canucks, Obviously, you want to play your cards to your own advantage, but it does kind of feel a little bit awkward to learn that, hey, the Vancouver Canucks were trying to do this, and as a result, it pushes some of the other players who have been committed to this team over the past few seasons down on the priority list. Let's go over here to a post on our Canucks. This is what McCrimmon said. He said that he called Jim Benning to inquire about his club's interest in taking on the full freight of defenseman Nate Schmidt's salary on Friday evening. This was shortly after Chris Tanev's deal with the Flames was made public. This is also from the article. It's revealed that Vegas GM McCrimmon reached out to Benning for this deal. It literally fell into Benning's lap. It was also revealed that if Pietrangelo signed with the Golden Knights sooner on Saturday or Sunday, the Canucks were going to match Detroit's offer to Stecher. And this is kind of where you think about the line, because if you imagine how that would have gone down. Imagine that Pietrangelo signs that weekend, and the Vancouver Canucks are in a position where they acquire Nate Schmidt a few days beforehand, and they get that Troy Stecher back too. If you have a decor of Hughes, Schmidt, Edler, Myers, and then you have whoever you want on the left side, Jordy Ben, Juolevi, whoever, Rathbone, and Stecher on your third pairing, that's honestly pretty good, man. Like, you don't have to force up a guy like a Brogan Rafferty to come in here and immediately be an NHL defender. And it's kind of nuts to me how this all was contingent on time. Because the Stecher contract itself, 1.7 AAV, that's a very good contract. I'm a Detroit guy. I love the Detroit Red Wings as a hockey team. They're my third favorite team, so I'm happy to see a guy like Stecher coming to Detroit. But that contract is something that the Vancouver Canucks would have wanted to give out. Because, remember what they said about arbitration? Jim Benning wanted to get Stecher back on a deal that was similar to the one he had before, that was over $2 million AAV beforehand, and now he took a cheaper, significantly more team-friendly contract, and Stecher in the media noted how he felt like communication and desire was one of the biggest parts of it. He wanted to be on a team that wanted his presence. He wanted to feel wanted. And inferring the entire situation from all sides here, it appears that the Vancouver Canucks just did not show him that love. And I get it. You can say, okay, but at the end of the day, Stecher was a bottom pairing D-man on this team. Or at the end of the day, Stecher only has that lure here because he is a Richmond guy. At the end of the day, Stecher is not the be-all and end-all. And yeah, I agree. I agree that there are definitely other defenders out there who are better than Troy Stecher, for sure. But at the end of the day, the Vancouver Canucks, what they're looking for now is a right-handed D-man. They're looking for a guy to fill in that spot, a guy who can actually be a positive NHL contributor, and somebody to replace that Stecher role, a guy who can definitely get pucks up ice, break up space in his own defensive zone, and break up cycles. It's all these things combined, plus the fact that he is a Richmond guy who did note how he really wants to stay in Vancouver, that's really got the fan base sort of weirded out by the situation, because him being so far down in the priority list put him in a position where he did not feel the love that he felt that he wanted. And it cost the Canucks. It did. They don't have him anymore. They're in the market for another D-man. They need another D-man to play on this right side. Whether that's a Hamonic or a Slater Cuckoo or whatever, they're looking for a guy, and Troy Stecher was right there, but they let him out of their grasp. So again, it's the dominoes we're talking about here. The Vancouver Canucks prioritizing Ekman-Larsson and Tyson Barrie over their own guys, leaving those own guys in a position where they wanted to sign other contracts. And at the end of the day, Nate Schmidt, this is a really good deal. This is a better deal than that Oliver Ekman-Larsson deal could have ever been. And it's something that the Vegas Golden Knights just gave Jim Benning. So at the end of the day, the Vegas Golden Knights pretty much helped the Canucks in this way. They got Pietrangelo, yes, but they were like, hey, Jim Benning, we have Nate Schmidt. You want him? Give us a third. We'll give him to you. And he said yes. Of course, I don't want to take away anything from what Jim Benning has done, because making the trade also, requires an ability to assess the situation and deem that that is a positive, contributive move to the team. But still, the way that the rest of the guys that we had were handled, and maybe I'm just being a Homer Canucks fan, still stuck on the 2020 playoff run, stop thinking about guys who are gone now, just think about the future. I get that, but there still are some moving pieces. And, while I love Brogan Rafferty, I want to see what Jack Rathbone can do, I want to see Olli Juolevi suit up for a full year, This team would have been better with Stecher, man. This team would have been better with a D-core that included some of the guys that the Vancouver Canucks very well could have re-signed. It's just that they didn't because they were focused too much on other things. And that's why communication is important, guys, because now, if you're in a position where you make your clients wait, that's a Hikaru no-go, man. Don't do that. So talk to me in the comments what you think about this Vancouver Canucks. I don't even know what to call this. What are we going to call this video? Communication problems? I'm not sure. We'll think about that tomorrow. Talk to me in the comments what you think about this whole idea here. A link in the description will be to Thomas Drance and Dollywell's article. Read it. It's very, very good. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.